Hello wonderful people, welcome to this What Is video, and this is What Is Adventures in Middle-earth, and just what is Adventures in Middle-earth? Well, that's easy. It's a total conversion of, I say total conversion, being all game moddy then. It's a conversion of Cubicle 7's The One Ring. So what is The One Ring? Well, that's easy. That's an RPG set in Middle-earth. It's a Middle-earth RPG, and Adventures in Middle-earth is a conversion of it, but a conversion into what? Well, it's a conversion into the 5e rules. And what is the 5e rules? That's easy. It's just the latest incarnation of Dungeons and Dragons. So to play Adventures in Middle-earth, you'll probably need Dungeons and Dragons 5e. Now you can get this. This is the start set. This will have all the rules except for character creation rules, which is actually quite important if you want to create your characters. But if you don't, if you want to use pre-gen characters, you don't have to worry. So it comes with this, which has the rules in. But you can actually legally, as well, I might add, go to the Wizards of the Coast site, and you've got there's a download of the beginner rules, and that actually has character creation in, so that's one way of doing it. But we might cover this later on, so I want to do a video on creating a character to play in Adventures in Middle-earth. Yeah, so Adventures in Middle-earth is effectively a version of D&D set in Middle-earth. So, but it takes bits over from The One Ring that are really interesting, that give it a Middle-earth flavour, such as there's a travel mechanic in it, which is really cool, because in D&D a lot of time the travel's not that important. You might have an encounter with a wandering monster or something small, but it's not that important. Whereas if you read, the books, it's just almost one big journey, isn't it, from the Shire to Mount Doom, with little things happening all the time. Little things like the Battle of Helm's Deep, that little thing, it's terrifying. But yeah, and just like D&D, if you've ever seen it, D&D you have 3 set of core rule books. If you go beyond the starter set and free downloads, you have a player's handbook, a dungeon master's handbook, and a monster manual. So it's kind of like that. In Adventures in Middle-earth, you get like a player's handbook. So at this stage in the What's If series, we normally do what's in the box, but there isn't a box really to show, apart from the starter set for D&D, but that's really for a different game. So we'll have a sort of brief look at the books, I guess. So you have this, which is the Player's Handbook guide, and they also do a Lore Master's guide, which is this. And really, to begin with, I would sort of say you'd probably need the Player's Guide. It's probably the most important, more important than Lore Masters. You can probably get away with this and either the download set rules of D&D or the starter set, and you can actually start playing. It's a lovely book. Anyway, it's got the artwork by Cubicle 7 guys is brilliant. I mean, have a quick look at this and stuff. Yes, so this video is kind of, I just want to give a quick overview. This video is difficult unless you know D&D, and so I'd have to do a what is D&D, which I might actually do one day. But yeah, what this covers is gives you an overview of the setting itself, kind of thing, and then it covers cultures, and cultures are, in D&D terms, are your classes, or if you're new to it totally, it's your job, kind of thing. Not your job, sorry, your race. It's your class, it's your race. Let's start that again, shall I, Kev? Cultures are your race, your background. So in D&D terms, it's like dwarf, human, elf, which you do actually have. But in here, you have. See this? You can be a barding. It's not going to focus, is it? It wants to focus on what else you're going to focus on, camera. A Bjorning, Dunedain, Dwarf of the Lonely Mountain, Elsa Mirkwood, yada yada yada. You then have a class. That's your job. So you can be a scholar, slayer, treasure hunter, wanderer, warden, and warrior. All very Middle-earth themed. You have virtues you give. So you basically create a character and you go on a little quest, so to speak. And so that's your 2 sort of main books. This one is a general one for everyone, and this one will be for the Dungeon Master, Game Master, or as one adventurers call it, a Lore Master. So this has a bit more sort of, covers the same sort of things, but it goes a bit more into the mechanics of the game, I guess. Because if you're going to be a Lore Master, you're Iru. You're in charge of the world. It's not you versus the players. You're not against the players. You're there controlling the world the players are in. So you're controlling the wildlife, the monsters, the NPCs, the world itself. And really, the whole point of this is not to win necessarily. I always find this in role-playing games. It's to tell a story, and sometimes the dying of your characters and so forth is part of that story. But as well as the core rule books, you get region guides as well. So this is Rivendell. It's the only one I've got. I want to get the Bree one. That's the one I'm going to get next. So again, just beautiful. Lots of maps. This will have lots of information about a region that the DM can read and get some flavour. You know, this covers the Eton Moors kind of things. It tells you what's going on there. So if your players wander off in there for an adventure, you can sort of use this to help you flesh out the world. Now, this here is this is legal because you can actually buy the books, or you can buy the PDFs. Now, I bought this as a PDF, but I'm actually thinking of rebuying it as a hardback book. So I printed it out, but I just prefer physical mediums and done properly. But if you wanted to, you could possibly get away with buying this, which is the Eves of Mirkwood, which is an adventure, and you could. Here's the download of the D&D basic rules I told you about, and you'd probably just need. Let's have a look. Let's see, you probably need pages 6 to, I think I've got it here, 6 to 10, and that covers character creation. But the adventures, this adventure also has pre-gen characters, so if you wanted to get up and running quickly you could. But this, what I mean by this actually is you don't really need the actual rule books to play this. You could, this, I don't want to show you too much because it might give spoilers for the adventure, but this actually goes through most of the mechanics of the game in this and explains things. But then if you wanted to take it a bit further, you could then get the rule books. You could start with this just to see if you fancy it. How you get on with the guys, with your players, and yeah, just if you like it, you can then perhaps one of the players invest between them in the player's guide, and the games master, lore master, can buy his or her or they or them, or insert pronoun there. Anyway, that'll do. Lore Master's Guide, and then you can play the game. It's played in a. You don't have to use miniatures, but you can if you want. I've got these. This is from the game Pathfinder, but what these are is they're just some fold-outs of, and they have a grid on. That's grass, and then it has stone, and I think there's something else in there, more stone probably, and more stone. I think that's sea actually, water. And these are, you can draw on them with a whiteboard marker, so you can actually draw stuff on, and people can use miniatures if they want, just to help them visualise it. But most of the time it's like a theatre of the mind. So what happens is the lore master will describe the world and what's going on to them, and then the players will discuss amongst themselves as well with the lore master and sort of tell the lore master what they wish to do, and the lore master will explain the outcome. Sometimes there is die rolling involved, and the reason it's called 5e 5th edition, sometimes referred to as D20 as well, editions in the old, is because you use these weird dice here, and most of the one you will be using in this is the 20-sided dice, and that'll be used to describe outcomes, do difficulty checks. So you roll a dice, you have in your statistics, probably have something that's suitable to find out what you need to roll using those, and there's modifiers to them, and you roll the dice. If you get higher, you succeed. If you don't, you fail. I have these beautiful dice here, which are elven D20 dice, so I can hopefully see those. So that's those. So I use those for the game. And what we'll do, because I want to do a little series of videos on Adventures in Middle Earth. This is just a brief fits in with that series overview of it. I want to go through making a character and then hopefully have a gaming session. I don't know how we're going to film it yet, but that's the plan, to have a gaming session of this wonderful game. So that is what is Adventures in Middle Earth in a nutshell. I mean, it's normally on this we go through the box. We can't do that. We go through the rules. We really can't do that. So it means we'd have to go through the entirety of the D&D rules, then go through books here. So it's more hopefully just giving you a brief overview, an introductory overview of what it is. We'll create a character together in another video, and then we'll play through actually Eves of Mirkwood with group. I get a group together. I don't know why I just done that. You can't see that, can you? We'll play through this, I think, and in that we can go through how the rules and that. As I said, there's not a lot. Most of the time it's just players explaining what they wish to do, DM saying yeah you can do that, or no you can't do that, and yeah, it's minimal dice roll. There are rules for combat. The combat is again using a difficulty check of your, I think, your strength if you're hand-to-hand, dexterity if you're ranged against the enemy's armor class. It's really simplified to 5e. It's really streamlined. 4e rules were I didn't like. They were video gamey. Didn't like them. 3.5 was good. 2 was my bad boy, my go-to. But I might actually do a video on Dungeons and Dragons at some point. But yeah, I thought so that is what is Adventures in Middle Earth. Just a brief overview, and we'll do some more videos soon. So until then, guys, thanks for watching and take care. Thanks for watching, we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button and leave a comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Stick with the channel for many great videos to come.